Hello, everybody. It's Mark Attwood here. Adventures in Cosmic Soup. I think looking at that intro, it looks like I've only got like 4 items of clothing in the whole world, doesn't it? Which is probably right. Anyway, thanks for being here. Hope you're well. Before I start, as usual, please look at the links in the description beneath the video, especially the email list. You need to be on that. This show I'm going to put on YouTube. We're going to talk about some stuff today that maybe we should be more uncensored about, but we just don't reach as many people on Rumble. So we're going to keep it on YouTube. And it's a continuation of a theme that I've been talking about since I started doing all of this. When in actual fact, it's a theme that I've been running with for about 20 years. And it's my pleasure to welcome back to the show from New Zealand, the amazing Gloria Masters.
Hey, how are you?
Well, I'm in a yellow jumper again, so I must be all right.
Those 4 items of clothing are well used.
They are. They get good use.
There you go.
You know when you wash some clothes and then you put them away, and when you're on your own, you do that regularly. So you're constantly recycling 4 items of clothes.
They must be good quality because
They are. But there's stuff in my wardrobe that I haven't worn in years. How's it going?
You look pretty good. Pretty feet not touching the ground, and achieving some wonderful things. So pretty excited about the hope and the light and the love that surrounds us all.
Well, for viewers that have not heard of you before, there's a couple of things you can do. Firstly, I'm just going to introduce Gloria's website, gloriamasters.com. And Gloria started this thing called Handing the Shame Back, which is all about taking the power back from abuse and handing it back over. And it's amazing work that you've been doing. And you've got, oh, sorry, forgot to take off WhatsApp. There's the daughter wanting a lift. You'll have to wait. Yeah, you've set up. Well, I'm going to jump into that. Yeah, Global Awareness Day. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But I'm just going to show the viewers something because I made a mental note to do this because I keep getting things on social media saying, "Oh, you should interview this person or that person," and I'm like, "Well, I did that 2 years ago." So, what I want to show you guys watching, if you don't mind waiting a second, Gloria, is that here's a really easy thing to do. If I say that I've interviewed somebody before, you simply go to themarkattwoodshow.com and then you've got the latest episodes here, and you click on watch more episodes like this, and then you'll find a little search bar at the top. And if I type into this Gloria, hopefully we're going to see some videos with you. Or the search function. There you go. Oh, I remember that one. Oh, that was the last one we did, I think.
Yes, it was.
No, June 22. No, that was the last one. Yeah, I remember that one. That was a really powerful one.
Yeah,
so this is the 4th one we've done. That's how you find previous episodes, guys. And all of these are really powerful. And that's how you use my website to find the archive. So that over. So I just had to get that little technical thing out of the way because I get a bit fed up with people saying, "Oh, we interview this person." Yeah, what, for the 5th time? So, Gloria,
I'll just breathe through that.
Yeah, just give us a quick overview of who you are, what you're about, and what we're here to talk about today.
Okay, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be back, by the way. So look, I'm Gloria Masters. I survived 16 years of child sexual abuse, including trafficking, involved in pornography, over 100 videos, forced abortions, leased to Freemasons, and I was also involved in being leased out of a nightclub, chained to a bed from the age of 11. So I've had quite the history. I'm just recounting quickly because Mark and I have much to discuss. What you're seeing in front of you is a healed survivor who is, with my absolute beautiful big angels around me, able to give back with love and light. So that's me.
I feel like crying every time you say that. By the way, yours is the book that I've read the most in the last year.
Wow. Have you finished it yet, Mark?
No, but it's the book that I've read the most.
Are you okay? I know it's pretty powerful, eh?
No, I for some reason I can cope with this.
Okay.
I think because I was slightly sexually abused myself, and a lot of my family were. I don't know. I grew up. I was actually thinking about this today. I grew up surrounded by paedophiles. You know, there was a church that was born in my village, and the leader of that church was a paedophile who abused
Yeah.
my dad, and they sprung up everywhere. They took over the village as I was growing up in the 70s and 80s. So I don't know if that's something to do with it, but it's touched my life. And the reason I talk about it so much is because it's actually touched everybody's life. I mean, you have been in extreme circumstances, and the reason why I love talking to you is because you say I'm a healed, and I'm healed, right? And I'm putting it back out. What you do is just phenomenal, but it has to. I mean, I'm going to talk about this actually because this is current. Have you seen the Philip Schofield stuff that's going on in the UK right now? You probably not.
No, but can I just quickly, because some of your viewers may not know. So this is the book. It's on Angel's Wings. It's my flight from trauma to grace, and it's the book Mark's talking about, the memoir. We'd love to tell you it's an easy read, but it's actually a nightmare. If they made a documentary, I don't know if you could sit through it. But no, Philip Schofield, go.
Hang on, that's a good point you just said about actually. Have you heard of No Restriction Studios?
No.
Because I interviewed them, but I should put you in touch with them because that's an amazing Hollywood.
That would imagine that being on a movie.
Yeah, well, he's made movies that around this subject. Yeah, that'd be interesting. If not, when all this is over and I've got a load of cash to make movies, I'll make it because this is the kind of thing that needs to be made. But before I go into the Philip Schofield thing, you just said before we started that. Sorry, I'm a bit disjointed today, guys. I've been driving for 6 hours today. I'm a bit numb-bummed. You said before we started recording that something big just happened in New Zealand, and that was like a TV documentary about child abuse.
Well, it blew me away. I've been trying for years to get them to interview me about my story with child sex trafficking because, shock horror, it's not new in our country. But for the first time, TVNZ, our government-owned and operated media outlet, mainstream media, did a doco on sex trafficking in New Zealand, and they had a researcher who'd been talking to women and girls who had experienced this. And the interesting thing was, well, it won't be interesting to you, Mark, because we've known it forever, was that there's documented research on it. And interestingly, the people who were found guilty of this got, and I quote, community service, and had to pay the victim 1,000 New Zealand dollars, which in the UK is probably 600. Now, one of them, again, no surprise to you, my friend, was a pastor. So because they were considered community leaders and high upstanding citizens, aka Freemasons, we guarantee, that was their sentence. Meanwhile, we have a beautiful 15-year-old girl who is now traumatized for the rest of her life. So it came out on mainstream media, and I was shocked, but it's good. We need more of this. People over here are getting a bit sick and tired. I think it reflects globally too, of the cover up. Just say it as it is.
Well, we just crowned. Well, they just crowned somebody in the UK who's best friends with Jimmy Savile.
Yeah.
Whose brother was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, hello, McFly. It's unbelievable. But that's why I brought up the Philip Schofield thing, because I've got to be careful what I say, because I'm not accusing Philip Schofield of anything. However, he's been on the screens on the TV in the UK for nearly 40 years. He's been presenter of the main daytime show for 20 years. his younger brother was recently put into jail for paedophilia, and he also came out a couple of years ago. I can't remember exactly when it was, but because he groomed this young boy and then got him a job on this TV show. I think that was about to come out. So he came out and said, "Oh, I know I've been married for 27 years, but really I'm gay." And everybody went, "Oh, what a hero. How brave." Instead of saying how fucking awful for your wife to find out, like this.
Yeah.
And then there's this interesting spat going on between him and the co-presenter. And some people are alluding to the fact that she's at the end of an NDA and she's trying to distance herself. But it's one of those open secrets, the same as Jimmy Savile was. Jimmy Savile proved to me and anybody with a half a brain the media in the UK, at least, i.e. the whole world, is run by paedophile rings and Freemasons and Satanists, right? So the fact that the BBC has a paedophile statue on the side of their building, which they're currently repairing after one amazing guy last year got up there and started to chop it away with a hammer.
I saw
it was up there for hours. Now they're repairing it. They're just doubling down on their paedophile protecting, enabling status. And it's not just the BBC, because it's ITV as well. And they're all in it together. And I know this to be a fact because I worked briefly at ITV 30 years ago, nearly. And I remember a TV producer telling me about another TV producer who just got married in order to grow his own victims. And I went, what? I remember back then going, what did you just say? It took me a while to understand what.
Yeah.
And they all knew it. They all knew it. And all of these people. So I actually think this is I'm going to do a whole video on this on Rumble, and I'm going on Sean Attwood's show tomorrow to discuss it at more length, because it's a big thing. And I really believe that this stuff is coming out on mainstream and is coming out in a way that's designed to wake up each of the populations. And when we've got Hunter Biden's laptop in the US, which is full of pedo, we've got a pedo president, not the first. We've got a we've had a pedo prime ministers in the UK for forever, for a century at least. We've got pedo presidents. The what's the name? Kathy O'Brien's book talks about human hunting parties with Clinton and Bush in a helicopter with naked kids running through, hunting them. So, but people just still don't believe it. They still don't believe it because they can't believe anybody would do this, or that it could be this institution. Or is it because there's so many of them in positions of power, it just gets quashed?
Oh, 100%. I think it's all three, but I think what you just said about the positions of power says it all. Have a look at the Sean Taylor show, not Sean Attwood, Sean Taylor show in the US. And he's just interviewed someone who goes on a pedophile hunt, and he does it through IT. You would know what I mean more than I do, but he catches people through. He can basically hack into those websites and then pretend to be the 12-year-old girl and meet them, and then get the cops involved. Now, depending, of course, on the police force, depends on whether or not.
Do the cops care? Because,
Well, it depends, you see. It depends whether they get a good cop or a bad cop on the day, and then whether or not it progresses. But the point is, they did a little on his show, they did a live, and Sean said, here's a laptop. Hack into the site you're telling us about. Pretend you're a young girl or boy, and just say hi, and let's time and see how long. So he put in, Janisa 13. Hi. Within 10 seconds mark, an audience, there were up to 4 over 50-year-old men wanting to play. So this is horrendous. We've got sextortion happening for our beautiful young children and teenagers. They're playing video games. Someone taps in, says they're their age, they're their sex, how you doing, and then says things like, I think you're really great. Just show me a photo of your chest, because mine, I don't know if mine's looking the same. And they start to groom these kids, they start taking photos, and then the sextortioners, they then go back to them and say, unless you give me a nude, I'm going to share this at your school. And so this, they're saying in the last 12 months, there's been a 700% increase in these online pedos. So yeah, this is huge. It's just going boom. We don't even know what's coming.
I mean, if the police forces of the world really were good, which I don't think most of them are, to do what that pedo hunter is doing on a mass scale would be super easy.
Yeah.
You know, they could dedicate entire task force to this, but they only ever do that for media. Yes, we've set up a task force to investigate blah 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 blah
Yes.
blah.
Yeah, I
I mean, I
know.
remember when oh God, what's her name? Horrible woman became Prime Minister of the UK, and she would.
Oh,
I can
yeah.
see her face, but I can't think of her name.
The
And,
Iron Lady.
no, not her.
Oh.
She was no. Her dad was a pedo.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Thatcher. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she was probably a bloke. But no, the second woman to be prime minister, not Liz Truss, the other one. I can't think of her name. But she.
Well, they all moved around quite. There was a bit of a sliding door thing, wasn't there? The people.
Well, there's been so many prime ministers in the last 5 years in the UK. I don't know who's in charge. But
yeah.
her name will come back to me. Somebody be in the comments going, got it. But her first thing that she did when she was Home Secretary and then she became Prime Minister, and the first thing she did when she became Home Secretary was delete all references of her father from the internet, because her father was best friends with a really famous paedophile, and they're all connected to all of this, but the public just carries on. It is mind-blowing to me. It really blows my mind.
Well, I think what you said before coins it really. That this is very uncomfortable. For evil to exist, good people do nothing. That's all it takes. And that is what is happening. And so every day in our country, we've got stats out now, November 22. 1 in 3 girls will be, not could be or potentially, but will be sexually abused by the time they are 16. And 1 in 4 to 6 boys will be sexually abused. Now, that's just new. That's nothing. That's not even, I don't know what the desensitization is, but all I know is we've got beautiful children out there and teenagers who are trapped and unable to escape this. And the adults around them go, oh, isn't it terrible? But there's crickets, Mark. This should be, you and I have talked about this before, this should be across the world the biggest outcry.
Well, in Ireland, there's been quite a shock recently because it's become extremely apparent that the Irish government has a paedophilic agenda. They've had a paedophile as children's minister for the last couple of years. The one before that was a lesbian, neither of which had ever had children themselves, and they were children's and families ministers. And they've been pushing the pornographic books under the guise of it being LGBT, blah, 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 blah. And they're full of porn, but the women, especially of Ireland, have seen this, and they're out and they're doing stuff. And I've talked about this before. I've got a non-consent notification printed off here. I talked about it on another show recently, and I've shown this to a few people, and I've said, look, we need to get together. This is wrong. If we can't get the kids out of school, and it's very difficult sometimes. I can't take my kids out of school. I can tell them you don't need to go, but I'm separated from their mother, and they want to be with their friends, and they can't see the danger, and they tried to get my consent for sexual whatever it's called, education,
sex ed,
yeah, and I said absolutely not. I'm not letting, and I actually told them, I said I'm not some third party corporation I know nothing about to deliver sex education to my 12-year-olds. What? No, absolutely not. And they ended up just making sure they weren't in school that day as well. And then I got threatened with prison and fines because the kids aren't in school enough. Then they actually came around my house and basically forced me to install an app where they were tracking me, so I can, which is now gone. And I brought it up in a meeting with them. They said, you could go to prison. And I went, what? And I said, I know who. I said, what? The reason they were out of school is because you imposed masks on children, which was child abuse. And they were like, blah, 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 blah. And they said stuff like above my pay grade. And other parents I've shown this what do you call it, non-consent notification has gone, yeah, I don't want to rock the boat. And I'm like, well, that's exactly how they get away with this. What's more important, rocking the boat or your kids being groomed at school? Because that's what's going on.
We've got a real problem, and unfortunately, the smaller the shoe size, the less the interest. And people say, "Oh, it's for the children. Let's do it for the children." But where's the advocacy? So here's a nice little segue as part of because I will never stop. So as part of what I'm doing is I'm launching a Global Awareness Day on Friday, the 16th of June. And I've chosen the 16th, the number 1 and 6, and you'll know why. It's because it was the day I escaped. I never had to see my father again. So on this day, thank you so much, is we've got several things where what we're trying to do is raise awareness for the abuse that goes on, and also for the beautiful survivors, including you and I, Mark, who some of us are still in the shadows. And what we're doing is we're raising awareness to support and honour the up to 1 in 3 survivors globally. Yeah. Now, as part of that, you'll see that beautiful little heart in there. We're just asking everyone on that day, please, to swap their logo on socials. Swap it out for ours, just for that day. We're just giving a nod to the beautiful survivors and the children. Naturally, we're asking for sponsorship because I just do this out of the love of my heart with some amazing volunteers. And I'm also releasing a hand signal on that day, Mark, for under 16s. It's a little hand, yes, for children and adolescents to use if they are at risk.
Ooh.
So that's why I wanted to come on your show, because what that will do is provide our beautiful under 16s a way to communicate.
Well, that was going to be my next question, because this is my opinion. What I noticed in the UK when I was about 11 was that it was becoming, a pandemic, and they couldn't keep a lid on it. So another TV personality called Esther Ranson came up with this brilliant idea called Childline. And I remember the number was something like 0800 111, something like that. And what that really was a way of them catching the kids before they got any further. So the kids would trust this TV personality, go to a phone box, dial the number, tell the whole story, and then they knew exactly which kids were squealing, and then they contained it, control over the whole situation. And that only really dawned on me when this odious TV presenter, odious TV presenter, the way she was after Savile died, and it all came out about him. I used to fly over her house when I was a teenager, and I often dive bombed it, pretended to dive bomb it. Anyway, that's an aside.
But I'm doing this because we've got to do something. And my belief is that in most good people, I have to believe that the majority of the population are good people who are not taking any action. This is a call to action. If you see a child or a teenager use this hand signal, which will be released on Friday 16th, you will know. And actually, it has already saved a young girl's life. So
how will people see this hand signal? How are you going to release it?
Because we've actually tested it on from 2-year-old up to 14-year-olds, and they can all use it quite easily.
I'm asking how the people watching this will know when you've released it.
because it will be released on my channel on Friday the 16th.
Okay, which channel? Which channel?
My YouTube channel.
Right. Okay. So
Handing the shame back.
Let me just get that. I know people watching this will say, "How will I find it?" So I just want to make sure they've got it.
And look, I'm trying to build a bit of momentum around it, Mark. I'm not trying to be secret squirrel, but I'm trying to build some momentum around it so that people take it seriously. But the YouTube channel is where I deliver things, and 5:30 a.m. on the 16th of June, that will be on the front and center.
Okay, so that's Handing the Shame Back YouTube. You can find that. handingtheshameback.org is where the information is. Go and subscribe to Gloria's YouTube channel and share it.
Yep.
Especially if you're if you've actually been through some of this, because it's, I think the time for being anonymous is over. You know, one of the saddest memories of my life is asking my grandmother why didn't I think I told you this before, but I'll tell it. Why didn't you do anything about it at the time? And she just looked at me and said, because we were scared. You know, this is in the 50s, 60s, early 60s. Because it was a major, because they had it all pinned down. You know, as you said earlier, you know, the priests, the teachers, the police, everything. They had it all locked down. There's a great Irish film out recently that showed this, the policeman abusing his son and it being kept quiet because he was the policeman and he just used to beat you up if you said anything or ostracize you or kick you out of the town or whatever. But those days have got to go. We cannot continue like that, can we?
No, and that's why I've outed the Freemasons, because, to be honest, my silence serves nobody. And the police have told me that this is not the first, nor will it be the last time they ever hear of Freemasons involved in child sexual abuse. Yeah? So not all police are, as we know, across all sectors of society, not everyone's bad and not everyone's great. But the vast majority of people are good people, but sometimes unwittingly they're gatekeepers. And they don't always know. They may suspect, but they do nothing. Our biggest group of concern, to me, might surprise you, Mark, are not the pedophiles, it's the enablers around them.
Because that's a bigger group of people.
It's much bigger.
The ones who turn
because they know something, but they won't do anything. And that really worries me, because they are by far the bigger group. But equally, this silence and this control over information around this is costing lives. We now know that adults who have been sexually abused are 3 times more likely to commit suicide than any other adult.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. So we've got to do something. And this is why if I suddenly disappear off the face of the earth, you'll know why. But look, I'm not going to live in fear. I've got the light behind me. I've got the angels saying, do it, do it, do it. So I'm doing it.
Yeah, well, you've got the angels with you. So what is there to worry about? I just noticed while I was looking for a video of a TV presenter called Eamon Holmes, who worked at This Morning and for ITV, and he's on a channel called GB News. And over the last couple of days, he's been saying, "Look, we all know the elephant in the room, but nobody's saying it," because he's basically implying they're all enablers. There's a ring there. It's a huge ring, and they're all part of it, even if they're not doing it. And that's why I think what's happening is part of a disclosure. But as I was looking for that, I just noticed that Rolf Harris, the Australian TV presenter, all the way through my childhood, who's been in prison for the last 10 years or so, had died on May the 10th, but his death was only announced today, which is interesting.
Wow.
There must be some numerology about. Yeah,
wow.
They said he's died age 93 and his funeral has already taken place. That only hit the papers today.
Well, because they know what would happen if it hadn't taken place, don't you? The amount of people that would have gone and probably been quite destructive, I would say.
I don't think it's that. I think it's deeper. I think it's to do with numbers, and I think it's to do probably because he fell on his sword for the Queen. They do this, don't they? Some of them have to get sacrificed for the greater good of their cult, and I think that's what happened. There was a big thing after Savile. They had to put a few in prison just to make it look as if they'd done something.
It's really sick and it's sad, and I really have to hold the hope and the light, Mark, and the light is to give to those beautiful young people who are going through this at the moment, and just know there's a way through, because the more we can stand beside and support, the more we speak about this, the more we do this, the more likely we are getting voices from all over the world reach out. And I have to say, I did an interview in New York with Unfiltered Stories. Mark, it's had over 7 million views.
Whoa.
Well, because there's not many survivors who've, I guess, gone through what I have and come out healed. And I think it's a beacon of light. And so what's happened is now I've got many, many people reaching out from all over the world saying, yes, that was me, or yes, you're describing my life, or can you help me, please, or, I'm struggling. And so this is so big. And I think collectively, if your angels can talk to mine, we can potentially get some, I saw you do that, we can potentially get the big white winged ones to lead us. And that's all I'm doing, very humbly and with love.
So I've got a question.
Yeah.
If there's anybody watching this who has struggled through their life,
Yeah.
and is a survivor, and I have met many of these, and I've listened to testimonies from mainly men in their 60s and 70s that brought me to tears, because they never got believed by their parents, they never got believed by anybody, and a lot of them had to run away from home when they were young, and they scattered across the planet, and
Yeah.
and then the call gets put out, come to me for help, or and they trust whoever they're going to, like Esther Ransom with Childline, but I've seen it in many other circumstances. And then what happens is the lawyers descend, and the lawyers come in and say, we will get you justice, we will help you, and they go, oh God, and they fill them full of hope, and then they demolish that case, and all hope is taken away, and you never hear from them. And especially if they're old, they just wait for them to die out. So what do you say to people who are concerned about that? Because that's certainly happened. I mean, I think Jimmy Savile has something like 500 plus people that said, but I know the amount of time he was in operation, that 500 was way bigger, and I'm sure there was murder, and there's never any talk about his trafficking. It's just about his activities as a pervert. But he had the key to Stoke Mandeville. He had the key to Broadmoor Prison from the government. The government gave him the key. They gave him
and knighted him. And knighted him.
What's interesting about that is that Thatcher tried to get him knighted 3 times.
Yes.
And he got she kept getting advised, no, that's not a good idea. So there must have been some good people in the civil service.
Yes.
Which is interesting. But
what your question is, okay, so what I'm here to say is light overcomes dark, good overcomes evil, Mark. And I have to believe that, otherwise I wouldn't be here today. And so for those that are struggling, and I sent you an image of the T-shirt for our Global Awareness Walk, you're seen, you're believed, and stood by, because we know the truth. We know the courage it takes for the truth to emerge from you. So you're never alone, ever. And I'm holding the light until you can hold your own, because the truth is powerful, and there's hope. We will win this. We will win this. I have no doubt. There's going to be a breakthrough somehow, Mark.
Well, there has to be. Where do people get this T-shirt? Because I can't find it.
No, because we're just waiting for a printer here in New Zealand to come through. But bring it up if you like. I've had people reach out from within New Zealand who have court cases coming up and asked if they could get one to wear.
T-shirts are incredibly powerful.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the image is, it's something I say at the end of, it won't be on the website. I sent it to you just through the email.
Yeah, but I didn't get any attachments, so it's not. Oh, yeah. Actually, I did.
Yeah. Just there you go. If you bring that up. The what I say, those words are what I say to every beautiful survivor watching at the end of our interview, because I think it's so powerful. And I wish two things. I wish someone had said that to me when I was going through it all. And I also wish that had there been a hand signal for me, Mark, I could have used it, because somehow, somewhere, there will be adults that will see this. We are going to be pushing it out across the whole world, and this will be used. So I think what I'm saying is it's not going to be like Childline, because there will be some good adults that see this. And if we didn't believe there was hope, why would we continue? So
absolutely. And the only way I can show that image is on my phone. If you see it there.
Yes. Love it.
I see you. I stand beside you. I believe you.
Yes. And then on the back, we have our logo, our kind of website. But thank you for that. Yep, that's good. Thank you.
I wrote a poem called I See You.
Yes, I know. I know your poem. It's beautiful. It always makes me cry. But Mark, sorry.
I send you a copy of my book.
No, you didn't.
No, shall I?
Yes.
Right, I'll send you it. Send me your address. I'll send you one.
Okay. All right. Hey, now, do you want to talk about the Global Awareness Walk? Because this is something you can do, please.
Yes. I'm just finding that. That's on the 17th of June.
Yeah. So we made that a Saturday, the day after the Global Awareness Day. It's part of the Global Awareness Day campaign. But the reason we made it the Saturday is so people can do it, because everyone works on a Friday. So the imagery is probably better on the other website that you have, but that's okay. This Global Awareness Walk is at 10 a.m. Saturday, June 17th, wherever you are in the world. And all you do is you grab a friend or family or pets or whatever, you take a selfie, you caption it, handing the shame back from, your suburb or your street, and you send it to us. We provide a tag and tag us in, and we're just going to have a big global walk. And we're just doing this for the beautiful survivors watching across the world. We know there's up to 1 in 3, so there's billions of us. And it's just time for us to be seen and time for us to feel heard. So
that's interesting. That's interesting because the 17th of June is the King's birthday.
Is it? Well, we know there's a good little antidote there, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what annoys me though? I can look at this, and there's a thing in Ireland called Dark to Light, and they get all the kids involved, and there's hundreds of people in every town on the island goes out at 3 a.m. and then goes for a walk through Dark to Light to stop suicide. Suicide rate's higher than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And they just go and do it every year. It's the same as the breast cancer lot with their pink ribbon. They go walking on these big marches. Breast cancer's through the roof. Nobody gets it. It's like,
I know, but Mark, I'm going to challenge you. This has never been done anywhere.
no,
in the
I'm talking
world
about your
before.
walk. I'm talking
Yeah.
about the cabal's walks. That
Yes.
they create these charities, they create these things to make people feel like they're doing something. But and I'm talking to the viewers, it does the opposite. It just fuels their. I mean, I was thinking about there's a cancer hospital in Manchester near where I live, and I went back recently. It's 3 times the size of what the cure for cancer is in my kitchen. People are pumping billions into these things, thinking, "Oh, I've done something good. Oh no, I've got cancer. Oh no, I'm dead." This, and what I'm saying to the viewers is, this is kind of what people should be knowing about. So please share this. And that web page,
that is, it's all on handingtheshameback.org, and it's under events. But again, we're just asking, and we're doing it with love and with grace and with absolute admiration for survivors everywhere. And I've got people from all over the world who have reached out because we've been advertising on our socials. We've got people in the US, we've got people in the UK, we've got people in Australia, Africa, who will be doing it with us. So time for our beautiful survivor family to have a nod and appreciation, eh?
Yeah, 100%.
So that's what I'm doing. One little step forward, and just with love and light, Mark.
Yeah, well, that's our best weapon, the light.
It is.
Yeah, and the love.
Yeah.
The time is now, and it's turning. It's going to pop very soon. Child trafficking is the biggest industry on the planet.
Yes.
When you really know what happens, if you're watching this and it's a bit uncomfortable, I don't like. No, you've got to get Gloria's book. Go and listen to testimonies of people. So I got told off years ago for even talking about this stuff. Oh, people don't want to know about that.
Yeah.
Ascension is an inside job. I'm like, yeah, but we don't realize what the enemy's done, because it is demonic. It's AI. It's come through and it's become part of the fabric of the society that we've lived in 3D. Everybody's been touched by this. Everybody, and it has to stop.
It has to stop. And it's only by good people like us doing something. Doing something is better than doing nothing. And for those that are watching and feel uncomfortable, if you have a child or a teenager or even an adult come to you and say, hey, I've experienced this, and you don't know what to do, you simply ask, what can I do to help? Do you just want a hug? Do you want to be heard? Do you need some practical help? The 3 H's, Mark. That's
Help,
it.
hug. What was the other one?
Heard.
Be heard.
Yeah. We don't have to solve the world's problems, but if you can be there with a loving, light-filled presence, people feel better. I mean, I can't help survivors over in the UK, Mark, but I do because I'm happy to listen.
Well, you do, because you're talking on videos like this, and this
Yes.
does help. This really helps.
Yeah. So for you, so what's top of mind for you? What are you dealing with at the moment in your space with all of this?
No, I did a video 2 weeks ago about an event that's happening in Middlesbrough in England on Thursday, and it's called My Statement of Truth, and there's a mother involved who had 3 of her children taken from her, and she changed her name by deed poll to Hope, Faith, Love, and a friend of mine called Ben, who's been involved in touch with me since the whole thing kicked off 3 years ago, and they are basically asking people to create a statement of truth, to just get it all out, stop being afraid, and they're doing a live event, and we're building a website for them at the moment called mystatementoftruth.com. It's not live yet, which will allow people to upload a video just cutting through the fear, and you just get, look, the children are the front line. The pedophilia is the virus. The real virus is this. It's not that thing that we think we've just been through. That's their way of culling us. This is the real virus. And all of these efforts I want to support as much as I possibly can. And I just reiterate to the audience, share this video. I'll put all the links below this video. Share those links. Go to those links. Donate. Buy a T-shirt when it comes out. Find the hand signal on the 16th that Gloria is going to show. Share it with any children that you think might be in danger. You know, this is how we do it. We're using their weapons against them.
There'll be an easy shareable link. My question would be, please, beautiful, helpful, kind, loving people that follow Mark, don't just look at it. Please share it. There'll be a downloadable link. Share it on your social media. You don't know who you're helping, because as Mark and I know, this is the best kept non-secret out there. And you might be surprised who you help. Yeah.
And because of that, I'm gonna play that poem to end the show with, because I know you've seen it before, but there'll be a lot of people watching this that haven't seen it before.
I want to see it. Yeah.
And this poem, not to shoot my cobblers off, has been read out by Ricardo Bossi. It's been read out at SRA rallies. It's been shown across the world at different types of events, and it's our statement to them from me, through God, through me. So thank you, Gloria. I'm gonna thank you so much. God bless you. I'll get this out as soon as I can, and I'm gonna play us out on this poem as soon as I pull it up. Here it is.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We see you. The scales have fallen from our eyes. The veil has drifted down from the sky, meandering firmly, finally revealing your depth of depravity. That's fear you're now feeling. We see you. Your demonic bloodlust laid bare to see, the statue of filth on the BBC, the prince and the madam, the crisper spy, the islands of horrors in the ocean lie. We see you. A billion souls stolen over the years. You hid them deep down to drown their tears. Perfect and innocent, God's own creations, mutilated by your sick machinations. We see you. Vlad the Impaler and his vile descendants, fleeing the palace from the 5D ascendants. The virus distracted, but gave us the time to peel back the layers of your heinous crimes. We see you. Run, run as fast as you can, back for more orders from the Phoenician clan. Out of White Rabbit, the looking glass cracked. Tipping point reached, odds against you now stacked. We see you. Pizza and hot dogs, pasta and sauce. Your sickness decoded your lack of remorse. Our slumber is over, our eyes not wide shut. For the children of Haiti, a knife to your gut. We see you. Ascension is powered by the light of the flare. Scramble like rats to the ruins of your lairs. It's over, it's over. Save our children, we cry. Revealed, reviled. It's your soul's time to die.
Ended it a bit early there, but I just wanted to say, you guys watching that, if there's anything in that you don't understand, CRISPR spy, go and look it up. What does that mean? CRISPR. Pizza and hot dogs. Why is that in there? Go and look it up. It's code. Go and look it up. Don't just let it wash over you. Go, what do those words mean? Gloria, I'm going to end it now because I'm going to get this out as fast as I can.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You too. Please send me the link for No Restriction Studios, or if you want.
I will. I'll dig out the contact details. Thank you. Take care, everybody. Share, share, share.